Échale, mijo. Échale, mijo. Échale, mijo.
Part 3. Let's do it. So after meeting the neighbor who wants to teach me Spanish, she's pretty cute. It's really hard to communicate with her. We know some basic words. But like I said, I had the laptop and we type into it and translate, which really helped. Before you know it, studying turned into making out. And this is where it gets weird, because this guy started coming around my house about the same age as us, and he is just staring me down. I could hear him cussing in Spanish, because I had already been taught every single bad word in the book, because they'd come up, talk to me, and tell me to say this word, and then I'd say it, and then they'd all laugh because the foreigner is saying bad words that they had just taught me. Well, this dude gets up in my face, says something, and I don't know what to do, because I am not home, and I don't know who he knows. I don't know who he hangs with. I don't know if I'm gonna get arrested if I do anything. So I just walk away. Turns out this dude was in love with the girl who was teaching me Spanish. So things were not good. So she came over, we got on the laptop, and we started chiming back and forth. Like, hey, this dude's in my face because of you, because I think he's in love with you. She's like, oh, I don't like him like that. And I said, okay. What do you want to do about it? She's like, I'm going to talk to him. Well, the talk probably didn't go well, because the dude got right back in my face again, and he was saying some shit. So I told him to hold up there, and went inside and got the laptop, had him type into it, and he did it. He's sitting there on the hood of the car, typing into it, saying, this is my girlfriend, we've been together forever, and you need to leave her alone. So I type back, she says you're lying, she doesn't know you that way, and you need to stop, harassing me. And it was her sister that finally came over one day and said, they've been dating for a long time, so you need to back off. And I said, okay, whatever, I'm done with this. I'm not gonna play into this anymore. This is BS. I get a call from my dad that night. He's like, kind of guiding me on the situation. And he tells me, yeah, he's like, just leave it alone. He's like, there's so many more women around here that you can meet, you can hang out with, you can do whatever. He's all, I need you to go back to the US, and I need you to sit with these trucks, because we had 2 trucks that were pulling trailers full of wood chips, and one of the trailers just magically disappeared. So I need you to ride with the driver. I need you to get on a bus, go to Juarez, get off from Juarez, meet the truck driver, and ride with him back, because I don't want this to disappear. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Honestly, what am I supposed to do if, they start, he's like, give me a call and we'll have someone take care of it. We have some friends, some police officers, some federal police officers that we can talk to, or at least some of the guys we know people. So I get on the bus and, no. Before that, I get to the bus station. Now, the bus station's there. He was like, this bus you see in the picture right now is kind of like one of those buses. And the person behind the counter, she said, she spoke English, and she said, do you want to, but I'm trying to translate in Spanish. She says, do you want a direct route? Or do you want a cheaper route, which is going to stop a million places? I said, I want a direct route. I want to get there as fast as I can. It's about a 12-hour bus trip. I was like, cool. So I get on the bus, and it's packed. And we made it to Chihuahua. But we're still a couple hours away from Juarez, and we get stopped by the military. Soldier comes on the bus. He looks around and he looks at me, and his eyes light up. Like, oh shit. And he goes like this. Like, damn. So I get up, go to him, and he pulls the driver off the bus and makes him open the luggage compartment. Pulls out my luggage, goes through it, rifles through it, and then tells him something, and he just leaves my luggage where he was going through it at for me to pick up and put all back in and to put back into the luggage compartment. The driver said something to me, and he seemed like he was pissed off. I think he was pissed off at the soldier, but still to this day, I can't figure out, what he was looking for in my luggage. But I can kind of see, both sides of it. Not a lot of people that look like me go to Durango and, they're living there, or even visiting there. Maybe it's changed since I was there. But if that happened in the U.S., it'd be all over the news. At least I think it would. Well, to me, I don't know. I don't even care at that point. I'm just tired, and I want to go back, get back to Durango as fast as possible. So I get there, and I meet the trucker. Well, first of all, I'm going, through customs, immigration checkpoint. Get through that. It takes forever. I'm questioning a million. Why are you doing this? Why are you in Durango? Why are you going back to Durango? It just looks sketchy. So I can see from their point of view too. So I get in the truck with this guy. We go through, I think it was Puente de Americas or Puente de Zaragoza. I forget, but we went through immigration, and it's just traffic built up, and I'm looking at this guy, and he looks at me, and it was the most awkward ride. 12-hour drive from El Paso to Durango. He tried to talk to me. I tried to talk to him. We'd stop, got food, and, I'd pull out my phone and look up some Spanish words real quick. And these are not the phones that we have today. These phones are like the old ones where you have 3 letters and you're trying to get the internet. And it takes one button 3 times to get a letter. And then I think Google it. But it was just a pain in the butt. So We get back to Durango, pull the truck into the yard, the sawdust yard, and we're dropping it off. And right before we get to the yard, his tire blows out. And he's demanding that I pay for it. And I'm trying to tell him, hold on, I got to talk to my boss and see if they're going to pay for this or whatnot. And he's pissed. So call up my dad. I was like, hey, this guy tire blew. He goes, we pay him for what he hauls. We're not paying for his tire. So the dude's like pissed off, and he goes like, says something and then goes like this to me. I go, oh, shit. I go, what have they gotten me into? I go back home, and they want to go out. And I'm like, yeah, I want to go out. I need a beer after the trip I had. I'm pretty tired, but I still want to go out. I still want to do something. And they take me to a place really cool. It's called the Tunnel. And it's an actual tunnel. Kind of like on a hillside. But it's a tunnel that's been dug into and turned into a bar. This place is super cool, but it's like really dark going back there. So some people were bringing flashlights with them. They've been there before, but once you get in there, it opens up and it kind of looks Disneyland themed. It's really cool. Go in there, have some drinks, meet some people, start trying to talk. They're teaching me words, and it's kind of starting to click, some of the stuff. So now I have no trouble ordering. I have no trouble at least getting some of the necessities that I need. And they're like, hey, let's go to another bar. Okay. Go to another bar, and this place looks like a nightclub on the outside. You go inside, it's a strip club. And oh my gosh, I don't know what kind of strip clubs you've been to before, but these ones were ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. They're trying to get money out of you as soon as you walk through the door. I walk through the door, one of the strippers pulls me towards her and tries to kiss me. I'm like, no thanks. And she basically won't leave me alone, but I had 20 pesos in my pocket, and as soon as I gave her that, she walked away and then said something about girlfriend. I was like, no. And she walked away. She seemed pretty upset. I don't know if she's asking to be my girlfriend or if I had a girlfriend or what, but communication is key, and it didn't go that way for me. But the next day I woke up with a pretty bad hangover, still had to work. And I get there and nobody showed up. So I asked one of the supervisors that was there what was going on. I had to pull out the damn laptop again because I was having a little bit of trouble. He said, you're not paying them enough and they're not going to do it until you pay them. I said, we don't pay him. You pay him. He goes, no, we don't pay him anymore. You're going to pay him if you want your trucks unloaded. So it turns into this big fiasco. And I have to get my dad on the phone and say, look, we sold this to them, but now they're saying that we have to pay for the offload too. Immediately, my dad gets on the plane, he flies out there, and my dad speaks, fluent Spanish. He's going back and forth with this guy. And as they're going back and forth, I look out the window and I see this guy running across the street, gets smacked by a car, and he probably flies like 5-6 feet. I'm like, oh shit, that guy just got hit by a car. So we all go to the window and we're looking, and they're looking around. That supervisor's getting on the phone to call an ambulance or someone. I don't know who he's trying to call because I don't understand. And the people who hit him just scoop him up, put him in the vehicle, and drive away. I'm like, you don't know if he has like a neck injury? Like, dude, I don't know if that dude's going to make it. So we go down there and we look at the spot, and there's a ton of blood on the ground. Just a ton of blood. So get done with, go back up, get done with, or no, wait, let me go back up. No, we left. We leave, we go get something to eat, and I think it's maybe like an hour later, we see another person get hit by a car, and it's by a taxi, like one of those that's just driving by right now. And the dude's leg looks broken. I'm like, what the hell is going on today? Two people in one day. And so my dad's like, I need to go get some stuff from Soriana or Walmart or somewhere. And we go there, and it's closed down, but there's police everywhere. Apparently somebody had gone up inside there and just started shooting. So I'm starting to question, is this a good place to be? I don't know. But after that, I really didn't have any more issues like that. Things started to get really good. As I start picking up Spanish, I start to realize uh, that I can do a lot more stuff, and I'm getting a feel for the culture, and I'm getting a feel for the people, and I'm starting to love it there. The people are so great. I, I knew everybody on my block. Where I live now, I only know like two of my neighbors. The other ones won't talk, or if they do, there's and their dogs are in my yard and stuff. But here, everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to talk about something. I mean, it's great. I love it. I wish I lived in a neighborhood like that again, where you knew all the neighbors. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of them want their lives to be like a novella. But it's not going to be that way. Uh, so me, I'm cruising along in Spanish. I can hold conversations now. I can talk to all my employees, and I'm probably about 6 months in living there. And we decide that we're going to go to Mazatlan. Beautiful beaches, so I'm told. Just a great place to vacation. But the road there is it's like a bunch of switchbacks, back and forth, up the mountains, down, and then into Mazatlan to the beach. It took like 12 hours. But you look at it on a map, it should only be a 2-hour drive. Later on, I found out they built a more direct road that only takes about 2 hours now, which is awesome for the people of Durango and Sinaloa and Mazatlan. But we get there, and I am in love with this place. And I start checking out real estate there. Buy a house. Back then, you buy houses for like 20 grand. Like not even a mile away from the beach. And not in bad neighborhoods, too. Not the case today. People have bought up all the real estate down there. A lot of people from Canada and the US are moving there, and they've really took my dream away. But I had a chance to stay there for a while. Later on. So we get there. We go to our hotel, check in. And man, they're right there. The guy's asking me what I want. I said, "Oh, we need some drinks." And we're just standing at the lobby check-in, and some dude brings us some drinks, and he pulls me to the side and asks me if I want any cocaine. I said, "No, thanks." Get checked in. We're getting ready to go out, and the place we want to go to, you need a taxi to get there. So a taxi pulls up, and just as I grab the door, the guy at the hotel lobby goes, No. He starts saying something about don't go in that taxi. And the taxi driver gets out, the door that I have open, he slams it, gets back in, and drives off. And the guy at the hotel lobby was like, mm-mm. And he tells me that these are the ones that rob people. I said, you guys called them for me. He goes, yeah, but he's all, they have a way of finding out where the taxi's supposed to show up. He goes, that's the one I called you right there. There's a lot of things you got to be aware of when you're traveling in any country, not just here. So I get another call to fly out back to El Paso to escort another truck. So I go back to, this time I fly back to El Paso. And we're waiting. It's supposed to be like a convoy of like 6 trucks. And they don't show up. Well, we were paying them, I think, $400 a trip or something like that. They immediately started saying they want $600 a trip, and they're not showing up. My dad says, we're not paying these guys. He's all, we're going to rail car. Forget about these truckers. He's like, it's too much. He's all, yeah, we're going to have to spend a little more money, but we'll get BNSF de Mexico to start doing it. So I get on a plane and I'm flying back to Durango, and I meet these 2 girls from Canada. And we start talking about how things work down there. And we had made plans to get dinner or something, just hang out, and I'd kind of show them around, what I'd learned. And I said, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you going to Durango, like, from Canada? She said, well, we're actually traveling all of South America. This was just a point that we found that was pretty cheap. In my experience, Durango's not a cheap place to fly into, but maybe it is for them. I don't know. So my buddy shows up, one of the workers, and he says, oh, your friends? I said, yeah, I introduced them. And he goes, do they want to ride to their hotel? And I said, yeah, let's give them a ride. So we give them a ride, we drop them off, and he goes, hey, that place they're staying in is not a great area. Just let them know to be careful and lock up. So I tell them, be careful, lock up, whatever. Give them my number, email, everything. And the next day, very next day in the morning, like super early too, it was like 6 a.m. my phone goes off, it's them. They said they had a rough night. So I went and grabbed the vehicle and I drove down there. I'm getting pretty good at driving down there too, because there's a lot of traffic there. And I go pick them up. I said, what happened? She said, we went down the road to get something to eat, and these 2 guys followed us. Went back, we're in our room, and they just kept beating on the door, and they're laughing and beating on the door, and they were doing it till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and they just wouldn't leave us alone. They said they would call the front desk, and they would do nothing. So they said we're on a budget. We had this hotel fitted in. I said, don't worry about that. I said, I have an extra room. You guys can just stay in that. So they stayed with me. And this is where things get crazy.